Do you find, like us, that sometimes the hardest part of the job is getting access to the survey site or building? Well, it's only taken us 4 phone calls, 2 emails and a drive, an extra drive, to be presented with this. Who knows how long it's going to take me to get through the door.
So, you join us about 5 minutes later. Jeanette is still working away through the keys.
I'm wondering if there's a bolt on the door.
Bit of brute force often does the job, but in this case, despite Jeanette's best efforts, it doesn't look like we're getting in just at the moment.
It's the right key, I'm sure of it.
Okay, 3 reasons to do more than just a bat survey when you're doing a bat survey. The reason we're doing this today is we've been given this big bunch of keys to open this building. We can't get inside, so we're coming up with something else to do. Let's have a look at the garden and see what other reasons there are for looking around. Come on. Okay, reason number 1, for things to do other than a bat survey. When you're doing a bat survey, have a look around the outside of any building. This is a building survey, or it's supposed to be, and what you find is other features of interest. Take this hedge for example, brilliant privet hedge, lots of dense cover, lots of shelter, can be used throughout the year by a range of different species. We've already found today, in the first few minutes of being here, robin, we found nuthatch, bluetit and coltit, all using these boundary features. So that's one thing definitely to look for that will add a lot more to your survey findings and the interest of the site than just looking for bats alone. Reason number 2, oh, hang on a minute. There's lots of other stuff to find when you're doing surveys like this. Look at this wall here behind me. It's got a superb amount of cover on it of all sorts of different stuff. We've got ivy there, we've got maidenhair spleenwort, lots of different mosses and lichens. Another great reason to look around, take on board more than just the bats. When you're doing a bat survey, there's always other things to think about in the immediate environment. We're in a great sort of urban fringe location here, but even in urban environments, you can still find a lot of different stuff. And there's one more thing to bear in mind, that 3rd reason. Come on, let's go and have a look. Now, the 3rd thing that's worth bearing in mind, and it doesn't happen on all the sites, but to us it happens on an awful lot of them, non-native species, which might be a bit of a problem. Laurel is one of them, but that's not included on the legislation that we're interested in talking about. There's another one just over here behind the camera. Let's go and check it out. Now, some of these non-native species are really important to understand about because they can be big constraints to the type of work we do. And if someone wants to develop this site or look after this site, conserve this site, these things can be a bit of a problem. Montbretia and some of the other species are included in some special legislation that restricts what we can do with them and what we can cause them to do by growing in the wild, for example. And there's one other example I want to show you in this garden while we're here, which is an absolute classic with an interesting twist to it. Let's go round to the front of the house and have a look. Hey, we should probably call this trapped by plants rather than 3 reasons. However, continuing with the 3rd reason, what we've got here is some cotoneaster plants, one with broader leaves, one with narrower leaves. And what's interesting about these is that they are invasive and not native species, and that can be a bit of a problem at times, but there's an added twist to this one, and I'll show you some pictures in just a second. But what we've got is a real good covering of sort of what you might call hedgerow twig flora type lichens, fiscias and other species, along with some mosses which have actually found a foothold on the cotoneaster plants themselves. So even though these are a bit of a problem, they're still adding something in terms of biodiversity, and therefore there's an interesting choice to be made about exactly how to manage them.